Hi class, welcome to the English video lesson with me, Miss Siska. Today we're going to discuss the grammar topic related to compare things, okay? We're going to discuss about comparison, but we're not going to discuss a normal comparison using comparative adjective or superlative adjective, but today we're going to do something else, okay? This is more detailed, okay? So as you can see on my board, I have written the material for you. Today we're going to discuss how to modify the comparison, okay? So there are some things related to comparison using the word than, using the word as, blah 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 as, and then also we're going to discuss such and so. But before that, we're going to discuss how to compare the comparative using the word than, okay? So as you can see here, okay, the modify comparative is used to make the difference in each of the things that you compare. Can be the adjective, can be the adverb. Okay, I have categorized them into 3 parts. Okay, the first is the big difference, the second is small difference, and the third is no difference at all. Okay, so how to modify your comparison is easy actually. Basically, you need just to put these words into the word into your adjective before you put then, and then after that you compare to the other adjective. Okay, let's see here now. We have in the big difference, we have a great deal, a lot, considerably, far, infinitely. Okay, and then for small we have a bit, barely, any, fractionally, and slightly. So the last one is the most common word that we use in modifying the comparison. Now let's take a look at the example. So for the big difference first, we have the total silence was a lot worse than any sound could ever be. So the word a lot is the additional for modify to show how worse is the sound. Okay, so we use the word then, okay, as usual. Okay, and then you put another noun that you want to compare there. Okay. And then that's to show the big difference. Now take a look at the small difference. Okay, tickets are slightly more expensive this year. Okay, so we have the word slightly. Okay, and then more expensive. This is comparative adjective. Okay. And then you can just simply use this word slightly before comparative adjective, and then if you want to use this year then last year, for example, if you want to use the word then. Okay, and then the third one is no different. Okay, so we use the word no or not any. Okay, so the example is I'm no happier than I was. Okay, so we use the word than here. Okay, this is the word no, and happier is the comparative adjective. Okay, now let's look at another example, another explanation of the comparative modifying the comparison using as blah 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 as. Okay, the next is how to modify the comparative using the as blah 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 as. You know, it's like the sentence, my sister is as tall as me. That's the simple sentence, yeah? But now we're going to modify them. We're going to see how different is that. You know, it's not like as blah 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 as means equal, but we're going to show it's not equal by showing the difference, okay? The first, as usual, as before, I have put this into 3 categories. The first is big different, the second is small different, and then the last one is no different. Okay, so the big different, we can use the word not nearly, nothing like, nowhere near, and also twice or 3 times or 4 times, etc. And then the small different, we can use the words almost, nearly, not quite. And then for no difference, since this is no difference, so you can't use the word such as equally, because as blah 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 as means the same as the equally. And then also just plus as blah 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 as. Okay. Now I will give you the example of the word not nearly. Basically, this is just the same as before. So you have to add these words into the comparative adjective that you have. Okay. So for example, the smell was not nearly as bad as we thought. Okay, we thought. Okay, so the smell was not nearly as bad as we thought. So we put not nearly here after the to be, and also this is your comparison as adjective plus as. Okay, and then another example is Stella knows almost as much about cars as me. Okay, almost is the example of the small difference, this one. And then there are just as many people who wants to study French. Okay, so they just as many people means that the same number. Okay, the next is how to use the double comparative in modifying the comparison. Okay, so this is repeated of the comparative. Okay, so we use the double comparative. We use double comparative in one sentence. Okay, just to show that something is changing. Okay, so for example, the exams are getting harder and harder. Okay, so you mention harder 2 times. Okay, so you use double comparative. Okay, and then the more I think about it, the more I realize. So again, you use double comparative here, they use more. Okay, and then the third one, the harder you think, the longer you run. So the use of this double comparative, you may use the same comparative or you may use a different comparative. It's based on the condition or the situation, just like the example of the third sentence I gave you. The harder you train, okay, this is harder, this is the comparative, and then the longer you run, so this is another one. Okay, so it's a different comparative. Okay, but basically you use double comparative. Okay, and then we have also the use so and such. Okay, this is also to compare, but this is more to compare about adjective and also the noun. Okay, so the pattern is just by adding the word so plus adjective and then plus the clause that blah blah blah. And then also we have such plus noun plus also the clause that blah blah blah. Okay, so if you want to talk about the adjective, so you have to use the word so. For example, it's so loud here that I can't hear myself think. It's so loud. Loud is adjective, so you have to use the word so. If you want to use the noun, you need to use the word such. For example, such a lovely day. Okay, lovely day. Okay, so it's such a lovely day. Okay, so that's the noun. Okay, and then also we have another one that's not enough, not enough, sufficient, and to, and also the modifying of the superlative. I will put the material on the LMS so that you can learn and study it and also make the example of yourself. Okay, I think that's all for me. Thank you very much. I hope that this video is useful for you. See you again on my next video. Bye bye.